I have a confession. I have accumulated way too much makeup. Hi, I'm Karima, and you might know me from such episodes as 22 Epic Foundations and I tried 40 lip balms, so you don't have to. I think when I created that type of content, it really made sense for me to have a sizable collection. And I love filming encyclopedic content, really big, beefy videos. But truthfully, I've been reflecting, and I feel as though I most enjoy, most love, I'm most inspired by makeup and my collection if my collection is small and curated. So today we're gonna make this wish come true. We're gonna do a massive declutter, Mary Kondo style. So I will be taking all the products out from the drawers, laying them in front of us, and only selecting the products that I cannot live without. Because this is quite a beefy job, this will span over quite a few episodes. In this episode, we are doing complexion. So primer, foundation, concealer, powder, setting spray. Let's do it. Okay, so despite the vast, enormous collection of primers before us, I'm not actually a big believer in primer. There are some primers that I like and enjoy for very specific purposes, so let us pick out some of my favorites now. I love the Makeup Forever Step 1 Smoothing Primer. This is an old classic, definitely keeping that one. I'm going to keep the Hourglass Veil Primer. This is a favorite from way back when. In a similar vein, I really love the NYX Angel Veil. This is a very similar texture and fulfills a very similar purpose to the Hourglass Veil, just at a much more reasonable price point. So I'm gonna keep that one too. I love that one from the drugstore. I must keep the Hollywood Flawless Filter. I believe I have this in 2 shades. I think it's like one of my all-time favorite makeup products, if I can say that. Next, a mattifying primer I love and featured recently in one of my recent tutorials. This is the Nikkia Joy Cosmetics Matte Base Primer. Really good one just to put on my nose to stop any breakthrough oil throughout the day. Love that one. I also love the By Terry, where is it? By Terry Cellular Rose Brightening CC Serum. So this is another wonderful illuminating product, almost a glossy, sheeny quality that is so super beautiful. So I'm going to keep that one in the shade 1. Another matte primer that I would like to keep in my collection is the Benefit POREfessional Matte Rescue. Really feather light on the skin and does a good job of keeping oils at bay without making the foundation go crusty or dry. Love that one, gonna keep that one. This is another favorite from way back when, the Hourglass Serum Primer. So this one has an emollient gel consistency, and this is a wonderful primer for those of you who are quite dry because it helps to keep the foundation on it quite flexible. I love that one for dry skin. I do like this one actually. The Lisa Eldridge Seamless Skin. This is another illuminating product, illuminating primer-like product, and it has a really lovely glow, very soft, refined glow, exactly what you would expect Lisa Eldridge to create. This one, I'm not sure if I like it quite as much as the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter, so I'm gonna put this aside into my one last chance pile, where products that I'm not sure of are gonna go in there, and we will revisit them later. If you have dry skin and you like a luminous base, you might like something like the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Primer, but to be honest, my skincare kind of does all of that for me. So even though it's a beautiful product, there's kind of no space for it really in my routine. I reckon that's it. Boom. Oh wait, what about this one? No. Oh, nah, I gotta pull the plug. Done. The Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, perhaps one of my favorite makeup products of all time. This has a beautiful sort of glossy effect. It gives you that high shine cheekbone without it being too glittery or sticky or anything like that. I've got 2 shades, 3 and 4. 3 is a little bit more pinky peachy, 4 is a little bit more kind of yellow and desaturated. I use them both for different things, so I'm gonna keep those 2. The By Terry Cellular Rose Brightening CC Serum, another primer geared towards luminosity. And this gives you like angelic skin. It's a very fine white highlight that really just improves the clarity of the skin and makes the skin look smoother and brighter. There are different shades if you are a little bit deeper than me. This one's more geared towards lighter skin tones. The Benefit POREfessional Matte Rescue. This is a very lightweight gel primer. It's ideal for oily skin types or even oily T-zones. I like to put this on my nose or anywhere where my foundation gets a little bit sheeny, and it's really feather light, so it doesn't feel like you're wearing a lot of makeup. Love that one. The Makeup Forever Smoothing Primer. Classic. I've been buying this one for years. This is a high silicone primer that is designed to smooth over pores and fine lines. It doesn't overly mattify, so it's a good one if you have a little bit more of a drier skin type. The Nikkia Joy Cosmetics Matte Base Primer, great for oily skin people. This one I like to also put down my nose before foundation, and it keeps everything in place and really helps with the longevity of foundation. The NYX Angel Veil, very similar to the Hourglass Veil in consistency, in application, and a really great price point as well. Hourglass, number 28, Primer Serum. This is a primer I would recommend to those of you who have very dry skin. It is quite a sort of balmy and an emollient, and it allows the foundation to remain flexible throughout the day so that it doesn't crack. That's great for that purpose. Foundation's one of my favorite things to discuss. So let's start easy. Obviously, we need to keep the My Armani To Go Essence In Foundation Cushion. This is like my all-time favorite foundation. I've purchased it so many times, you've heard about it so many times. I also want to keep the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation in Fiji. This is really pliable and it's really easy to spread, great coverage. I also have to keep the Fenty Beauty Eaze Drop Foundation in 6. This is the foundation I turn to when I want a really natural looking base. If I wanted like an evening foundation, so something a little bit more glam, a little bit more coverage, I think I would be going something like the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. This is in the shade Fiji, so probably about as matte as I go, but very glam and perfecting. Another special occasion kind of foundation that I must have in my collection is the Armani Luminous Silk Foundation in the shade 4. So this is the most photogenic foundation on the market. Anyway, you can fight me about that one, I believe it. Another standout foundation from this lineup is the SUQQU Nude Wear Liquid. So this is a really fluid foundation, but it's got really impressive coverage. And this shade is a good one for me in summertime. All right, you see there's some stick foundations going on here. I think by far my favorite stick foundation has to be the Hourglass Vanish Stick Foundation. I've got this in 2 shades. So I've got Buff and Bisque. I think I'm gonna go with the lighter one because it's a little bit more neutral, that's Bisque. But like, for example, the Tom Ford Traceless Foundation Stick, not really my vibe, quite a stiff formula there. And I feel the same way about the Huda Beauty Stick Foundation over here. So I'm gonna be leaving those today. I love the Armani Lasting Silk UV foundation, very difficult to find, but this is one of Armani's best creations. And I've got a backup, this is my backup. Another glam foundation that really stands out to me here is the YSL Touche Eclat. So I purchased this relatively recently, shade B20, and it's got a real smoothing, blurring effect that is gorge. What else? You know what, I actually love Air Flash by Dior, but the most recent bottle that I purchased, it seems like the formula is a little bit different now. Like it's very sheer. So I'm gonna put this aside in the one last chance pile. L'Oreal True Match Nude. I found that I struggled with the shade range of this one. I'm sort of between two shades, so I'm gonna put these two aside for the one last chance as well. That's the thing with foundation, like a lot of these formulas are so gorgeous and I would love them if they were in the right shade, but it's hard to love a foundation if the shade is off. Like for example, IT Cosmetics CC Plus cream, love this formula, fabulous coverage, really skin-like, but again, the shade light, I couldn't get around that shade range, that one there. Same thing with the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin. I enjoy this formula a lot. It's a great one if you like a dewy foundation, but the shades are all a little bit warm. So I'm gonna put this in the one last chance pile as well. Lisa Eldridge, this foundation, my gosh, I had such high hopes for this. And the shade 9 is a wonderful shade match for me. It's like a very muted olive and I was so excited, but this formula kind of splits and separates on me throughout the day. I'm gonna put this, because I really want this to work, so I'm gonna put it in the one last chance pile as well. I did try a few more Armani foundation cushions and cushion-like products. None of them are the My Armani To Go Essence in Foundation Cushion. That one's the best. Oh, I love this one. The Tom Ford Traceless Foundation, super glossy and beautiful, like editorial skin. Discontinued. Oh, another affordable option that I want to keep in my collection. This is the Revlon Color Stay in the combination oily version. I do have the dry combo version, but actually I prefer the oily formulation. It's a little bit more smoothing. And I think I might also keep the Pat McGrath Lab Skin Fetish. This is finicky to apply. It's fussy, but if you get it right, it's like gorgeous, glossy, dewy baby skin. I do like True Match, but that shade range just doesn't work for me. It's just, again, nah, I'm calling it. Done. The My Armani To Go Essence In Foundation Cushion, I think I'm on my like 5th or 6th compact. This stuff is a pricey habit. It's cost me a lot, but truthfully, it gives me everything I want from my day-to-day foundation. It's the foundation I wear pretty much every day. It's really easy to apply, just pat, 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 great longevity, so brightening. Oh, can't say enough good things about that. I will repurchase that again and again. The NARS Light Reflecting Foundation, another favorite. This is so lightweight and thin, but it's got fabulous coverage and it's quite luminous. So if you are looking for a little bit more coverage, but you like a dewy finish, this would be one of my picks. I just really like the way that it sits and it wears throughout the day, very elegant. YSL Touche Eclat Foundation, glam. This is an evening foundation, really smoothing. And I've got the shade B20, which is a decent shade match. I can get away with it. The NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation in Fiji. This is another evening foundation for me if I'm looking for something more perfected and a little bit of a higher coverage product. This is about as matte as I go in my foundations. It's got that kind of satin matte finish, very smoothing and very flattering. The Armani Luminous Silk Foundation, the most photogenic foundation ever. This foundation is the one that I would wear to a wedding or anywhere where I'm getting flash photography or any kind of photography. This guy, most photogenic foundation on the market. The Pat McGrath Labs Skin Fetish. This is a little bit finicky with application. It kind of doesn't want you to play with it too much. So I really just try to get it straight onto the skin quite quickly and not over blend. But if I do all of that, it is like juicy, plump, gorgeous skin. The outcome is worth the hassle. Giorgio Armani Lasting Silk UV Foundation. This product is unclear whether it's discontinued or not, so I've bought a few backups. Just one of my all-time favorite formulas. Really lightweight, really juicy skin. Armani. Armani know what they're doing with complexion. The Fenty Eaze Drop Blurring Skin Tint. So this is quite a sheer foundation, great one for every day, and I tend to gravitate towards this when I want a really natural looking base because you can't really see makeup on the skin at all. I also like the shade 6. This is a muted cool tone olive. If you're a warm olive, this might look a little bit pink on you, but if you're a cool tone olive, rejoice. The Revlon Color Stay Longwear Makeup for Combination Oily Skin. This has fabulous coverage, it's quite smoothing on the skin, and I think it could be worn either day or night. You can it's a little bit pliable, so you could shear it out. The Hourglass Vanish Stick Foundation. This is like butter. Between your fingers, it is soft like butter. It blends really beautifully into the skin. Even if you have dry skin and have struggled with stick foundations in the past, this one is a standout. Love. The SUQQU Nude Wear Liquid. This is my summer foundation. So this shade is a little bit dark for me in winter, but at my most tan, I don't really tan, this would be the foundation I would reach for. It is feather light. You cannot see foundation on the skin. Really impressive coverage. It's got like a satin finish. SUQQU, very difficult to get a hold of. I will not let it go. Next category is concealer. Blemish concealers, under eye concealers, correctors, all of that jazz. My number one concealer right now that I have to keep is the Armani Luminous Silk Concealer in 4. This stuff is glorious. Also, while we're talking Armani, I've got to go the High Precision Retouch. This is a very a brightening concealer, more about brightening than coverage. Keep. I love the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealers. This is a really great formula to have in your kit if you're a makeup artist. They do an amazing shade range, lots of different undertones for all your client needs. I want to keep the shade Creme Brulee. I also like Cannelle, but lately Cannelle has been a little bit dark for me. I'm gonna keep Creme Brulee. Next, oh, this one, the Charlotte Tilbury Corrector, Under Eye Corrector in 1, I believe this is. So it's like a very light peachy shade. This I'm not sure about, but I'd like to give it one more go. One more go, pile. I love the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. Fabulous drugstore formula. Very similar, I think, to the NARS Creamy Concealer and the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer, quite a similar formula. I'm gonna go and keep the Maybelline Fit Me in the shade 10. So it's like a more neutral tone, but on the lighter side. I really enjoyed the Huda Beauty Overachiever Concealer for a good while there. This is super, super high coverage, but actually, Huda Beauty released another concealer that I prefer even more. This is the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Concealer. And I like to add this just a little bit at the end of my makeup if I want a little bit of extra coverage under the eyes or just a little bit more oomph. I like Tarte Shape Tape. I like it. I've been using it for years. Do I love it anymore? It's hard to say. Look, I'm gonna give the Tarte Ultra Creamy Shape Tape formula, which is kind of like a spin-off formula from the Shape Tape. I'm gonna put this one in the one last chance pile. I'm gonna give that guy another chance. The Tom Ford concealing pens, just not really my favorite formula, but you know, I do really like the highlighting pen. So this has like a little bit more of a light pink, peachy highlighting quality. Not really about coverage. I'm gonna keep that one. Oh, I just used this one the other day and I was really impressed. This is the Bobbi Brown Corrector in Sand. So this is actually quite a thick formula, but it's got a great peachy tone that cuts back any of those bluey purple discoloration under the eyes. Keep. Kevyn Aucoin Essential Skin Enhancer, the best spot concealer ever. I'm going to keep the shade 5, which is probably my best match right now. And I do really like the Huda Beauty Glow Wish. I like the idea of this concealer. It's a sheer concealer. And I like the idea of just having a little bit of a sheerer option, so I'm gonna keep that one. I do really enjoy the Hourglass concealer here. I'm going to keep the lighter shade, which is Sepia. By Terry Click Stick. This is quite a similar formula actually to the NARS Soft Matte Complete, and it's got that kind of very thin silicone slip, very smoothing formula. And I love this one. I'm going to take the shades 2 and 3. So as you can see, this is like a clicky style. The Kosas Revealer Concealer. It's been a while, but I used to love this guy and I want to revisit him. I'm gonna keep that. The Sisley Under Eye Concealer. This has like a bit of a peachy hue. So it does some color correcting in addition to concealing. Love that one, gonna keep it. This guy I really enjoyed. I wish I could repurchase this, but I think they've discontinued it. The Laura Mercier Secret Concealer, that stuff is bomb. Becca. So sad to see Becca go. Oh, I loved that LF Fast Concealer. I do like the NARS Creamy Concealer, but the shade, I only have the shade Custard, which is not a great shade for me anymore. I think we did it. That's done. Actually, look, because I love Armani so much, I'm gonna give the Power Fabric Concealer a go in the one last chance pile. Everything else must go. The NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer. Love this one. Just under the eye there where I'm darkest to cut those blue tones. Don't love it all around the eye area because it's a little bit dry for my skin tone, but just for those little hot spots, blue hot spots, fabulous. By Terry Stylo Expert Click Stick. Similar to the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer, it has a thin, dimethicone heavy, slippery sort of finish, which means that it blends into the skin really beautifully, and it's got fabulous coverage. Yeah, love that click stick. Armani Luminous Silk Concealer, my go-to concealer. I like to use this one under the eyes, around the face if I need a little bit of extra coverage. It's good for daytime. It's good for adding more coverage to an evening look. I think the standout fact about this concealer is that it really maintains flexibility throughout the day and it continues to look hydrated throughout the day, even on dry skin. Love that. The Glow Wish Bright Light, a sheer concealer. I just think that that's such an interesting concept and I want to play with this guy more. Armani High Precision Retouch, a very unique concealer. This is very brightening and it has pretty amazing coverage, very lightweight, very light reflective under the eyes to illuminate shadows. It's difficult to find this one. You guys keep telling me that it's discontinued, but I keep asking the lady at my Armani counter and she said it's not. So I don't know what's going on, but this stuff is amazing. The Huda Beauty Faux Filter Luminous Matte. This is a new discovery. Oh, I love it. So I'll often use like a little bit of a sheerer concealer around the eyes and just go in with something high coverage in the darkest parts of my under eye circles. And I love this for that purpose. Super high coverage, but really pliable and spreadable. And it doesn't look dry or crusty in those delicate under eye area. Ooh, love that. Tom Ford Illuminating Highlight Pen. You can see this has sort of like a light pinkish hue. Not that much coverage, more about the lift and the brighten around the shadowy areas. The Sisley Under Eye Concealer. So this one has quite a strong peachy undertone. So it's good for knocking back any purple or blue discoloration. Sisley, man, they know what they're doing. The Bobbi Brown Corrector in Sand. This is quite a thick formula, so you only need a tiny little dab. It has fabulous coverage, a strong peachy hue that will really counteract any blueness. I do like to use this as more of a corrector of sorts, so I would be following up with a little bit of a highlighting concealer to complete the duo. Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in Light. A fabulous drugstore concealer. Got a good medium coverage and a very versatile concealer that can be used around the face, under the eyes, just really easy to use, a great drugstore option. The Kosas Revealer Concealer. I haven't used this guy in a little while, but I remember loving this formula. So I wanna give this guy one more go. I do remember that the shade range is very yellow. The Hourglass Vanish Concealer in Sepia. This is like a beautiful formula as you would expect from Hourglass. It's got a good medium to full coverage. It really looks very flattering on that delicate eye area, also good for around the face. Yeah, a good all-rounder, that one. The Central Skin Enhancer in SX05. So this would be my spot concealer of choice. It's a very densely pigmented cream and you only need like a pinhead amount to conceal a blemish. It's a product that has been celebrated over many years. Nothing comes close. Next category is powder. This is a lot of powder for someone who wears powder so sparingly, but we've got options here. So I think over the past few years, my most used powder has been the Laura Mercier Translucent. This is a classic. This guy has been around for years. I'm actually going to keep the small guy because he's great for travel. I really enjoy the Revlon Photo Ready Candid. This is like a slightly yellow toned powder, banana toned, very brightening. Keep Rouge Bunny Rouge Diaphanous, the lightest powder on earth. If you do not like powder, if you hate powder, this is the powder for you. You can't see it on the skin at all. I want to give this Fenty Beauty powder foundation, I want to give this guy one last try because I really like this color 190. It's kind of like a greenish olive hue. Ooh, love this guy, the Tatcha the Silk powder. Oh, this guy looks well loved because he is. This stuff is a silica-based powder, super smoothing. The RCMA powder, I know everyone really lost it over that powder a few years ago. Didn't really do much for me. The Armani Luminous Silk Press Powder, I love Armani, but it doesn't do much for me. Like the Cover FX, I loved this powder for years, but truthfully, I haven't been reaching for it anymore. Oh, the By Terry Hyaluronic Hydra Powder palette. This is a wonderful palette. Love this. And while we're with By Terry has some loose powders. There's a hyaluronic hydra powder that is translucent, and she also has a tinted version. Personally, I'm going to go with the tinted version. It's really, really nice to get a tinted powder because it doesn't cause any white cast. You know what? The last time that I wore, this is crazy. The last time that I wore the Airbrush Flawless Finish by Charlotte Tilbury, it didn't wow me. I think I might put this guy in the one last chance pile. Oh man, Pat McGrath, I love these powders. Oh, all right, I'm going to keep the Pat McGrath Labs Skin Fetish Eye Powder in light. This stuff makes the eye area look so smooth. I love it around my eyeshadow, edges of my eyeshadow too. The Glow Wish Powder by Huda Beauty. This is a nice pressed powder that has a little bit of coverage. I like to use this sometimes to clean up my contour. The Nikkia Joy Cosmetics, both the loose and the pressed version. The pressed version is another one that's really nice for like cleaning up a contour, or cleaning up around the eye, got a little bit of coverage. Love those. And I used to love these. Does anyone else remember these? The Guerlain powders. Oh, so nostalgic. I actually think that I might put one of these in my vault, which is where I keep like a few sentimental makeup things because I can't bear to get rid of that one. I want to give this guy a last chance. The Charlotte Genius Magic Powder. I remember this being a little bit shimmery, so let me give that guy one last chance, and another last chance to the Hourglass Veil Translucent Setting Powder. Some of these powders have a little bit of luminosity running through them, and sometimes it hits the mark, but oftentimes it misses for me. So that's the case with this one. I'm gonna give him one last chance. And that, my friends, is powder done. You must go. The Revlon Photo Ready Candid. This actually has a bit of a yellow undertone, kind of like a banana powder, and that really helps to like intensify the brightening features of this powder. So good one, good affordable option there. The By Terry Hyaluronic Hydra Powder Palette. So this has a few of By Terry's pressed powders. It's a very silica heavy pressed powder that does a brilliant job of smoothing. It's very lightweight on the face. And I like the fact that you get a few different colors so you can do a little bit of low-key shading or maybe alter the shade around the eye. I just think it's brilliant. I want to keep that one. The By Terry Loose Powder. This is another cult product, this formula. It's another silica powder that just makes the skin look poreless. It blurs all fine lines, it blurs all pores, and really gives the illusion of super smooth skin. Love. And I like the fact that it's tinted, so it doesn't cause any white cast. The Rouge Bunny Rouge Impalpable Finishing Powder. This is the powder for people who hate powder. It is so lightweight, it is so invisible on the skin, you cannot see it. A great option for very dry skin types. Pat McGrath Labs Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Eye Powder in Light. This stuff, so blurring, so smoothing, really wonderful for around your eyeshadow to give your eyeshadow a soft focus edge. The Laura Mercier Translucent. This is a very absorbent powder, and for that reason, I like it in a few little hot spots around my eyes where I know that my mascara and my makeup wants to transfer and migrate. If I use this in a few little hot spots, it just keeps the eye area dry and really reduces any migration issues. A classic. The Nikkia Joy Cosmetics Velvet Finishing Powder. As the name would suggest, this is like velvet. It's great for muting any oily T-zone, but I have dry skin and I like it all the same. It's great for under eyes as well. The Nikkia Joy Cosmetics Velvet Finishing Powder Pressed. This has a little bit of coverage and a bit of like a brightening yellow tone. And so I love to use this at the end of my makeup just to kind of fix any areas where I can see a little shadows forming. So sometimes it's like under the eyes, around the nose, and it just lifts the face. Love it for that purpose. The Glow Wish by Huda Beauty Luminous Press Powder in Fair. This is a powder that has a little bit of coverage, and it's great for cleaning up the contour line, or again, adding a little bit of brightness to a look at the end of the makeup. The Tatcha Silk Powder. This is a very finely milled powder that has a lot of smoothing features. It's not super absorbent. I wouldn't say that it's ideal if you're particularly oily, but if you want a smooth canvas. Okay, here is the final category of the complexion episode, setting sprays. And I see two types of setting sprays here. We've got some hydrating mists that are designed to kind of rehydrate the foundation if it's looking a bit dry. And then we have some other setting sprays that are film formers and are geared towards makeup longevity. So I want a little bit of both. Too Cool for School Coconut Milky Mist. You guys know I love this stuff. Finest mist ever. In a similar vein, the Fenty Beauty What It Do Makeup Setting Spray. This is a hydrating setting spray, another very fine mist. For a longevity setting spray, I am actually really enjoying the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. And this one is an aerosol and it just, satisfying, very satisfying. I know that everyone has been talking about the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. Maybe something's wrong with mine, but I just could not get on board with this product. It spat all over my face and then left little holes in my foundation that I actually had to almost entirely remove my foundation to correct. So I don't know, you guys tell me, what do you think about that one? I do want something that's both hydrating and geared towards longevity, and I think a good option for that one would be the Maybelline Glass Spray. This spritzer, very good. Look, I really do enjoy a lot of these products, but we can't pick them all. Some of them have to go. The Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. This is a setting mist that is designed to extend the longevity of your makeup. So it has film-forming ingredients in it that really keep your makeup staying put. This is a continuous aerosol, which I find to be, it never spits on my face or ruins my makeup. It's so fine. The Fenty What It Do Makeup Refreshing Spray. Another fabulous mist. And this is one that I would use if my makeup was feeling a little bit powdery or a little bit dry, perhaps later in the day. A little swish swish and your makeup is refreshed. The Too Cool for School Coconut Milky Mist. No idea if this is still available, but it smells like coconut water and it makes my makeup look dewy. Like, what more could one ask for? The Maybelline Glass Spray. So this will rehydrate your makeup while also helping with longevity. A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Love it. You guys, that was an absolute mission. We have been filming now for over 6 hours. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Make sure that you're subscribed so that you don't miss the next episode of our Declutter series, where we are talking about face color. So that will be bronzer, blush, highlight, and contour. Subscribe so that you don't miss that. Also, you can come say hello to me on Instagram at Karima McKimmie. I'd love to chat to you there. And I'll see you next time. Bye.